Electra, I told you to stay up there.
I'm not going to stay up there all
Electra,
by
listen,
myself.
stay.
Part of the floor could give way or something like that.
God damn it, what did Throw it away. That was no way to talk to a lady.
Nikolai.
It's been a long time, my friend. Miguelito.
He killed you. 15 years ago, he killed you.
Yes, he did. Predictable. You're forgetting you shot me. You delivered me. I'm disappointed, Robert. You were supposed to kill her. You were so good. I had to use both my best to track you down.
The film opens with Robert Ra, a highly skilled assassin working for a clandestine service, renowned as the world's #1 hitman. In a somber scene set in a remote forest, where a light drizzle falls from the overcast sky, Robert confronts one of his latest targets. With a heavy heart, he hands the man a gun loaded with a single bullet, compelling him to take his own life. The target, tears streaming down his face, realizes he has no choice but to comply, ultimately succumbing to despair. The weight of the moment is evident on Robert's face. It is clear that the brutality of his profession weighs heavily on him. Upon returning home, Robert is engulfed in devastation and sorrow. He meticulously cleans his gun while gazing out the window, contemplating retirement. His thoughts drift back to a haunting memory from 15 years earlier, the murder of his best friend, Nikolai. He recalls the day Nikolai emerged from a bank with a substantial sum of money, only to be shot from a distance by Robert's sniper rifle. Later, Robert checks his laptop to communicate with his contractor. After confirming the target's demise, he feigns illness, hoping to escape the monotony of his life and retire from his violent profession. However, his contractor dismisses his claims and assigns him another job. Moments later, the printer whirs to life, revealing photographs of Robert's next target, a man who will attend his brother's funeral after a decade apart. Despite the presence of 2 vigilant bodyguards, Robert devises a ruse, pretending that his right arm is broken while concealing a weapon beneath it. As mourners gather to pay their respects, a figure named Miguel Balm lurks in the background, seemingly plotting an assassination of his own. To Robert's astonishment, Miguel suddenly opens fire, killing Robert's target amidst the chaos. Shocked and disoriented, Robert watches as the guards scramble, unaware of who has committed the murder. In the ensuing turmoil, Miguel turns his attention towards Robert and begins shooting at him. A fierce exchange of gunfire erupts, leading to several guards being struck down. Just then, police sirens wail in the distance, forcing Miguel to surrender. In a fleeting moment during transport to the police station, Robert locks eyes with Miguel before deciding to follow him. Using a two-way radio, Robert listens intently to police chatter regarding Miguel's condition. Demonstrating remarkable cunning, Miguel manages to free himself by breaking one of his fingers and overpowering the officers escorting him. Following a dramatic crash during their transport, he escapes, shedding his restraints and changing clothes before fleeing the scene. Robert arrives moments later to find that Miguel has killed a policeman and vanished. Determined to track him down, he executes a plan. He rear-ends a taxi, compensates the driver for damages after incapacitating him, and commandeers the vehicle. As he learns that police have pinpointed Miguel's location at a nearby restaurant, Robert instructs the taxi driver to take him to the airport. Minutes later, Miguel realizes that the taxi is not headed for its intended destination. Enraged, he confronts Robert, demanding that he fulfill his role as an assassin. The tension thickens as their paths intertwine once more in this deadly game of cat and mouse. Instead of continuing on his way, Robert pulled over next to a small stadium where children were playing football. He instructed Miguel to exit the taxi. In that instant, Miguel's realization struck him like a thunderclap. The man beside him was not merely a taxi driver, but Robert Ra, the infamous assassin. The glass of the taxi was bulletproof, and Miguel understood that stepping out would likely result in his immediate death at Robert's hands. Robert's fury erupted as he confronted Miguel about stealing his contract. However, Miguel retaliated with a chilling threat: if Robert did not drive, he would shoot one of the children playing nearby. Reluctantly, Robert complied, unwilling to see a child harmed. But rather than simply obeying, he fired a shot at the glass, a gesture filled with rage. He then introduced himself as a fellow assassin and a competitive sociopath, revealing his admiration for Robert while simultaneously declaring his intention to kill him and claim the title of the world's #1 assassin. In a sudden move, Miguel broke the window on his side in an attempt to escape. Robert lunged to stop him just as the police began to identify and pursue them. The chaotic chase forced Miguel to sit back down, but he seized the first opportunity to throw himself out of the taxi. The police were hot on Robert's trail, demanding that he pull over. Yet, Robert was cunning. He stopped at a taxi station, blending in among a multitude of cabs and successfully evading capture. Eventually, Robert hailed another taxi and made his way to a hotel. Once there, he inquired about Miguel from his contractor. To his dismay, the contractor's laptop indicated that Miguel was an unfamiliar name. Instead, he received another profile. If Robert completed this assignment, he would earn $2 million and secure his retirement. Tempted by the prospect of this final job, Robert learned that he was tasked with eliminating a notorious computer hacker named Elektra and 4 Dutch buyers who were interested in a computer disk she possessed. Elektra was an independent woman who had lived alone for years, her only companion being her cat. She had set up CCTV cameras and an intricate mechanism for moving items remotely within her building. Meanwhile, at the airport, the buyers contacted her to arrange a meeting at the Marriott Hotel for the disk, offering $40,000 in exchange. As Robert pursued the buyers, he mistakenly believed that Miguel was still on his tail. He followed them into the hotel but lost them while waiting for an elevator. Determined to track them down, he decided to tap into the hotel's computer system for assistance. Elektra's elaborate setup allowed her to monitor activities closely and facilitated the transfer of money through air-conditioned ducts after she had taken it from the buyers. Just as she connected to their computer to decrypt the disk's contents, Miguel burst in, mercilessly killing all 4 buyers. He attempted to deceive Elektra into completing the transfer process for the disk, but she quickly caught on and deleted all sent data. Realizing she needed to escape, Elektra made a hasty retreat. However, Robert intercepted her and seized the disk from her grasp. Miguel discovered the details of the conversation that had taken place behind closed doors, and he devised a plan to provoke Robert's anger, hoping to manipulate him into killing Elektra. However, when the moment came, Robert refrained from taking her life. Instead, he discharged his weapon into a nearby pillow. As Robert and Elektra made their way out of the hotel, Miguel arrived late to their room, only to realize that he had been outsmarted. Elektra, aware that she couldn't trust Robert, sought to put him in a compromising position. In a bid to escape, she dashed toward the bus station, forced to leave her beloved cat behind. Robert, however, retrieved the feline and used it as a lead to track down Elektra's home by visiting a local pet store. Meanwhile, Miguel rummaged through Elektra's hotel room and stumbled upon photographs that would help him locate her apartment. Yet, in his haste, he mistakenly entered the wrong unit, resulting in a violent confrontation with her unsuspecting neighbors. Unbeknownst to him, Elektra was watching the chaos unfold through her surveillance cameras, horrified by the brutality. At that critical moment, Robert entered Elektra's apartment and proposed a deal. If she agreed to leave him for now, they could meet again later. Tensions escalated as Robert and Miguel engaged in a fierce battle. During the fray, Elektra spotted her neighbor in the hallway. Despite Elektra's desperate warnings, her neighbor ignored her pleas and proceeded into the apartment. Realizing the danger too late, Elektra watched in anguish as Miguel killed her neighbor, Jennifer. In a fit of desperation, Robert opened the gas valve and directed the flames toward himself, triggering a massive explosion. Once he was certain that Miguel had escaped the blast, Robert took Elektra back to the hotel for some rest. Yet, she remained skeptical of him, voicing her disbelief as she snatched his gun from the table and threatened him with it. Unfazed by her aggression, Robert stood his ground. Frustrated and confused, she fired a shot into the wall to demonstrate that he had misjudged her character. Moments later, Robert approached her calmly and relieved her of the weapon. Meanwhile, Miguel received news from his contractor that his contract had been cancelled due to his failure to secure the disk. As Robert contemplated his future in this dangerous line of work, he realized that meeting Elektra had profoundly impacted him. That night, while Elektra slept on the bed, Robert chose to rest on the floor. Unexpectedly, he offered her a job for $1 million, promising to share his plans with her in the morning. They were scheduled to hand over the disk for $2 million at dawn. The following day, after obtaining the money and delivering the disk, Robert boarded a train to reunite with Elektra. However, the train unexpectedly halted at an elevated point. Sensing imminent danger, Robert skillfully leapt from the train just in time to reach his partner. But soon after landing, he realized that the suitcase containing the money was rigged with a bomb. Acting quickly, he discarded it into a nearby trash bin just before it detonated, narrowly escaping death. Amidst the turmoil, Elektra confessed that she didn't fully trust Robert and had given him a fake disk. This revelation hit Robert hard. He understood that his contractor was likely trying to kill him. In response, he proposed a new deal. He would hand over the real disk only in exchange for $20 million wired to a specified bank in the Caribbean. The disc contained highly confidential information, prompting the contractor to reluctantly agree to Robert's terms. He immediately enlisted Miguel to finalize the contract. On Miguel's laptop screen, Robert's image flickered ominously, revealing that the contractor had tasked Miguel with assassinating him. The day before the money was set to be transferred, Robert and Elektra visited the bank, acutely aware that the contractor would likely hire someone to kill him. Robert identified an abandoned hotel nearby, a place he knew Miguel would use as a vantage point for the shooting. He devised a trap, revealing to Elektra that the bank, the hotel, and the entire scheme were intricately planned based on his prior knowledge. He recounted a haunting memory from 15 years ago when he had stood in that very hotel room, preparing to kill his best friend and mentor, Nikolai, a decision he had come to deeply regret. That night in the hotel, as Robert grappled with feelings of remorse for his past actions and expressed his affection for Elektra, he suddenly noticed her slipping out of their room and mingling with the crowd outside. In a twist of fate, Elektra caught sight of Miguel among the throng and instantly regretted leaving the safety of the hotel. Sensing her presence due to the familiar scent of jasmine, Miguel began searching for her. In a moment of panic, Elektra attempted to conceal herself. Just then, Robert found her and, after ensuring that Miguel had moved on, safely escorted her back to their room. The following morning, he handed Elektra a gun for her protection, confessing that he had never depended on anyone throughout his life but now found himself relying on her. He sealed this moment with a kiss. Robert then entered the bank to confirm the transfer, closing his account and making an unnecessary request for the funds to be made available in cash, a process he knew could take several hours. Inside the bank, he waited patiently, fully aware that Miguel was positioned outside the abandoned building, ready to strike as soon as he emerged. Hours passed, and Robert's anxiety began to mount. Meanwhile, Elektra sat in a nearby cafe, keeping a watchful eye on Miguel and anticipating his departure from his hidden spot. The heat became unbearable, and after exhausting his water supply, Miguel finally exited the building, intent on observing Robert's movements. Seizing the opportunity, Elektra dashed toward Miguel's hidden sniper rifle, determined to prevent him from shooting Robert. However, Miguel was clever, he had concealed the weapon well. After a few tense moments of searching, Elektra located it but found it just out of reach. As she tried to retrieve it, she slipped and fell into a precarious position. At that very instant, Robert and Miguel crossed paths outside. Each man threatened the other, tension crackling in the air. Confident that Robert was safely inside the bank, Miguel eventually retreated back to his position, unaware of how close they had all come to disaster. Elektra managed to regain her footing, but it was too late. She quickly sought refuge, hiding from Miguel's line of sight. Meanwhile, Robert emerged from the bank, the weight of the cash he had just received heavy in his hands. Outside, Miguel took aim with his sniper rifle, but as he observed Robert's demeanor, he sensed something was amiss, a trick was at play. The unmistakable scent of jasmine, Elektra's signature fragrance, wafted through the air, alerting him to her presence. In that critical moment, Elektra fired a shot, hitting Miguel in the back. Although the bullet struck true, it did not prove fatal. His confusion caused him to stumble and fall. Seizing the opportunity, Robert raced back to the hotel, reaching Elektra just in time to shield her from any further harm. As Robert confronted Miguel, a deadly game of hide and seek ensued. In a shocking turn of events, Miguel fell several stories after being shot. Just when it seemed that the danger had passed, Nikolai unexpectedly appeared, leaving Robert stunned. Nikolai revealed that he had been the contractor behind Robert's assassination plot 15 years ago, orchestrating it so he could vanish for a time. He explained that he had worn a bulletproof vest during the shooting and had anticipated Robert's every move. The disc that had set off this chain of events contained information that could draw him out of the shadows if deciphered. Nikolai's sinister plan included eliminating Elektra to retrieve the disc before Interpol could intervene. Realizing the threat Nikolai posed to his life as well, Miguel regained consciousness. In a moment of unspoken understanding, he signaled to Robert, and together they opened fire on Nikolai, ultimately killing him. With their unexpected alliance forged in blood, Miguel feigned a desire for peace with Robert, suggesting that he could retire from this dangerous life. Yet his words rang hollow. Beneath the surface, he still harbored intentions to eliminate Robert and claim the title of the world's top assassin for himself. As Miguel attempted to shoot Robert in the back, Elektra donned her sunglasses, providing Robert with a crucial warning. In a swift reaction, Robert shot Miguel through his jacket, ending his life. With the threat neutralized, Elektra accepted Robert as her partner in this perilous world. Together, they retrieved the money and the disc, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.